Hey guys, got some awesome news for you today. My beautiful shed has arrived. They just dropped it off here on the side of the driveway for me. It is the Arrow Elite Series 4-foot by 10-foot metal outdoor storage shed. I picked this product because it's made in America, made in Illinois, I believe. And just overall, after about 100 different ones that I looked at, I thought this one was good. So stick with me. The package weighs, I believe they said on site, it weighs 269 pounds. Something like that. I imagine that includes the crate, I don't know. Either way, it's too heavy for me to move the box as a unit, so I'm going to take at least some of the material out and bring it into the backyard and set it on some more cardboard that I have back there. Just so it's not out here on the driveway. I would not want this to walk away. Today is Monday. My son can come and help me on Saturday, and I told him I'm going to try to make a little bit of progress just because I'm antsy to see this done. So we're going to sit down and look at the instructions here. That's something that men don't like to do, but I have learned that it really helps. Well, and so the party begins. This is going to become like a review of Arrow shed products. So far, I'm loving it. I ordered their floor kit, which you can see over there. So it says clearly on the floor kit box to build the shed before attempting to build the floor kit. And it says in the shed instructions to make sure your floor is built before you build the shed. So I had to call their 800 number and get clarification, and she said, yeah, I've told them they need to fix the manual about that. So anyway, so far so good. I'm going through the checklists. They say to verify that all the parts are here before we start, because if you get part way into it and then you can't finish, it's very dangerous if the wind comes up. So I checked the hardware list. Everything is here. All kinds of goodies. I've checked the this is the hardware list, which refers to basically the screws, nuts, bolts, that sort of thing. And then I also checked the, what do they call it? This is still the hardware list, which are the door handles, hinges, latches, little air vents. Everything is good. So now, and I kind of wish I didn't have to do this because this is going to take me a while. I need to take everything out of that box, and I guess I'll spread it out on the grass there and make sure all of this stuff is here, because we don't want to not be able to finish. I just spent several hours going through the book here, checking items off. Came up with a few that they need to replace because they're just too banged up for me to be able to use. Show you some examples here. These are totally bent. I mean, if it's minor, I don't mind. I could bend it back, but I tried these and I'll just make them worse. And what else we got? As you can see, I spread everything out, got it out of the box. These are also no good, just because these are dings. These are the front panels. If these were like the rear on the back of the shed, I'd probably let it slide. But I mean, you know those are gonna rust. Mostly this one, but as long as they're sending me one, I'll have them send me both. You quality control people, you got to catch this stuff. Anyway, so I can't proceed with the shed until I have all the parts. which was in bold letters in the instructions. So I'm glad they had that in there, because I wouldn't have thought of it. I probably would have just started building. Let's get everything put back in the box and let it set until we get the rest of our parts. Got everything put away, covered up with the tarp, because I have a feeling it might be a little while by the time I get parts. I tried calling the office, and of course they're closed already. So we're all good to go. As soon as those parts come, we will proceed. It is about a week later, and I've learned a few things about shed installations. One is they give you several measurements on the box, and like in my case, it's a 10-foot by 4-foot shed. And it makes sense, they have to go by their biggest measurement, which is obviously the roof, the front of the roof to the back of the roof, and left and right, which is obviously bigger than the floor. And I didn't really take that into account, so my floor, it's a full 6 inches smaller, so it's basically 3.5 feet. And it said that in the small print. I remember seeing it, but I really didn't register it in my mind when I was making my pad. I could have made my pad quite a bit smaller or gotten a bigger shed, but that's okay. It's going to look great. What I will do is I'll actually slide this to where it's as close to the back of my stones as possible, because I want the water, when the water drips off the roof in the back, I want it to drip into the gravel and not onto the stone, so it's not, wetting under the steel frame any more than it needs to. And that'll give me quite a bit of space up here. I'll just set some nice big pretty rocks or something. So anyway, the floor structure is put together. As far as the outside frame, that's not the floor kit that I mentioned earlier. That gets built after the shed. And I'm doing some of the pre-assembly stuff that I'm able to do by myself. And I have good news, and that is that today my package arrived with the other parts. And this time, it's amazing how much more carefully they are packaged. So I want to give a shout out to Arrow in their quick response. They did get me the new parts, and this time each part is wrapped up very carefully. They probably don't like to have to send the same parts 3 times. Obviously, it would have been best that they got them all right the first time, but I've been in business and I know what it's like to make mistakes, and I told them that on the phone. I said, some of the parts I'm able to make work. I'm only requesting the ones that are really damaged. And they got them here quick, so customer service, excellent. So far, that is my review. And I'm putting together the wall corners at this point. And I'm not sure how much further I can get by myself, but my son said he'd come this coming Saturday now and help me out, since this time I wasn't ready. And today's Sunday and the parts showed up, so I appreciate the hurry on the part of Arrow. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, I think these new ones look a lot better, don't they? I can put those in the recycle. And I have, I've told you guys I'm going to start selling my stone bowls and other crafts. I'm starting to have a lifetime supply of packing materials for if and when I start doing that. Yeah, this time everything came really wrapped up. So here are the other new pieces that were missing. Or not missing, they were damaged. Those came good. The ones I just showed you, and then the panels. The panels are in there. Awesome. Well, the adventure begins today. My son Steve is here. He's going to help me put this baby together. It was a great feeling to see things start to take shape. Getting these first corner pieces installed was probably the hardest part, in the sense that they seemed so flimsy on their own, unable to bear even their own weight without any support. And thankfully, my sweet wife came out at just the right time to see how things were going and ended up helping us through this difficult stage of the project. Once more and more pieces came into play, it became much easier. At first, I was thinking that the shed was going to turn out to be of very low quality and would probably cave in with the first windstorm. But as we got more and more pieces joined together, the shape became much more rigid. It was a great illustration of how the Bible compares us as individual Christians to bricks being built together into a spiritual house, which is the church, going on to say how each one has a very specific and important purpose and how we all suffer if any one of those parts is missing. Similarly, these flimsy parts are quite useless by themselves, but once joined together, the result became so much more than simply the sum of all the parts. This is looking really good, and we've got it slid out obviously onto the pathway just so we would have room, because we need room to get. I guess I can show you from over here. Behind the shed there, I'm trying to show you. And then when we're all done, we'll just slide it back into place. If that makes sense. Here we go again. I spread everything out one last time, hopefully. My son's about to get here, and I don't want to spend his time digging through the box, so I got everything spread out. We're hoping today to get to where everything is done except the doors, and we can slide the shed back into place. Because remember, yesterday we slid it out onto the path to be able to get around it. But once the roof is on, we won't need to get around it anymore, so we'll lift it up and scooch it back to its place where it's supposed to be. And then all we'll have left after this video should be the floor kit that I bought, putting the doors on, and then moving all the stuff in. And I don't know how much of that I'll actually make a video of, since it won't be near as exciting as what we're doing now. While we enjoy this somewhat lengthy time lapse of Steve and I making some good progress on this shed, I will give what amounts to my official review of this product. Of course, we are not a product review channel, but given the circumstances and without going into too much detail, I feel it is appropriate to share this big event in the life of Granite Paradise with you all. First, a big shout out in terms of customer service and the quick delivery of the parts that you may remember came damaged in this order. Once we got going, the holes all lined up fine with very few exceptions, and I am generally very satisfied with the quality of the shed in relation to the price that I paid for it. It is a great addition to Granite Paradise, and it seems to fit right into the overall rock garden environment, making great use of this back corner of the yard. Soon I hope to be up and running in terms of working on stone projects in the other shed, as I told you about earlier. We actually did meet our goal for the day, which was to have the roof done and the shed moved back onto its pad. But my phone battery died while recording what amounted to several hours of work condensed into a very long time lapse. And so we lost the final details of the roof and moving the shed back into place. It was almost dark when we got done. Thank you again so much, Steve, for all your help the last couple of days. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in this video that we made some really good progress. The shed is pretty much done and where it's gonna go. I think it looks very nice. You can see it's set back on its pad in a fairly symmetrical manner. God bless you guys. Please like, share, subscribe. All that good stuff always helps us out.